Welcome to Harrison Simplified. In this video, we will discuss the pathogenesis of multiple sclerosis in detail. Demyelination in multiple sclerosis initiates with the infiltration of perivenular inflammatory mononuclear cells, primarily T lymphocytes and macrophages, that cluster around small veins in the central nervous system. This perivascular inflammation leads to localized disruption of the blood-brain barrier, though notably, the vessel walls themselves remain intact. Such selective permeability alteration allows immune components to access CNS tissue without wholesale vessel destruction. At the advancing edge of lesions, cytotoxic CD8-positive T cells are frequently observed, suggesting their direct involvement in tissue injury. The humoral immune response also plays a pivotal role. B lymphocytes infiltrate affected areas, producing myelin-specific autoantibodies, which activate the complement cascade. This concerted immune attack results in sharply demarcated zones of demyelination, a hallmark feature of the pathology. Importantly, axons are typically spared initially. However, in inflammatory lesions, axonal destruction can occur. The process of remyelination is often partial, what we term shadow plaques, where surviving oligodendrocytes attempt to restore myelin sheaths. Unfortunately, despite the presence of oligodendrocyte precursor cells, these cells frequently fail to differentiate effectively, impeding full remyelination. Therapeutically, the goal is to promote remyelination, thereby protecting axons from degeneration and preserving neurological function. As lesions evolve, prominent gliosis develops, marked by astrocytic proliferation, culminating in the formation of sclerotic plaques, which upon autopsy appear as rubbery or hardened areas of gliotic tissue. Transitioning to neurodegeneration, the key driver of irreversible disability in MS is the cumulative loss of axons and neurons. Demyelination compromises axonal support. It reduces trophic factors, redistributes ion channels, and destabilizes action potentials, rendering axons vulnerable. Over time, this leads to distal and retrograde degeneration, what is known as dying back axonopathy. Multiple pathological processes contribute to the progressive neurological decline. Chronic active plaques with persistent inflammation and ongoing axon loss, cortical lesions, often not well visualized with standard MRI, and ectopic lymphoid follicles, organized aggregates of B cells, T cells, and plasma cells within the meninges, are associated with more severe tissue damage. Vulnerable neuronal populations, such as COOX2-positive neurons within cortical layers 2 and 3, are particularly susceptible to excitotoxicity driven by glutamate, oxidative stress, iron accumulation, and mitochondrial dysfunction, culminating ultimately in neuronal death. Focusing on inflammation, the pattern differs between relapsing and progressive forms. In relapsing MS, focal perimenular infiltration of lymphocytes and monocytes causes BBB disruption and active demyelination. Conversely, in progressive MS, inflammation becomes more diffuse, with widespread microglial proliferation across white matter and infiltration of CD8 T cells and plasmablasts or plasma cells. This results in dirty white matter, characterized by reduced myelin staining and axonal injury. Long-standing astrogliosis, activation of astrocytes, is a consistent feature, contributing further to tissue injury. Remarkably, ongoing inflammation can occur behind an intact BBB in progressive MS, which explains why many immunotherapies that do not cross the BBB fail to halt disease progression. From an immunological perspective, MS is fundamentally an autoimmune disorder targeting CNS myelin components, although the precise antigenic targets remain elusive. B cells are central players, evidenced by their presence in lesions, meningeal lymphoid follicles, and cerebrospinal fluid, where they produce oligoclonal immunoglobulins, an important diagnostic marker. Antibodies against myelin oligodendrocyte glycoprotein, or MOG, have been detected on degenerating myelin. Yet many antibodies target ubiquitous intracellular proteins, and their pathogenic roles are uncertain. B cells may act as antigen-presenting cells, presenting self-peptides bound to HLA-DRB1-1501, molecules that cross-react with myelin antigens, Epstein-Barr virus epitopes, or microbial antigens like Akkermansia muciniphila and RAS-GRP2. This molecular mimicry hypothesis suggests that MS-associated HLA alleles might trigger autoimmunity by presenting self-peptides that resemble foreign antigens. Autoreactive T lymphocytes, especially myelin-basic protein-specific T cells, are activated and maintained via B-cell-mediated antigen presentation. MBP is a well-characterized T-cell antigen in experimental autoimmune encephalomyelitis models. These activated T cells are detected in blood, CSF, and lesions, with MS-associated HLA-DRB1-1501 molecules capable of binding MBP fragments, thereby stimulating T cell responses. The predominant pro-inflammatory subset is the T helper type 1 cells, which produce interferon gamma, along with cytokines like IL-2 and TNF-alpha that sustain inflammation. These cytokines can directly injure oligodendrocytes and myelin. B cells from MS patients often produce high levels of TNF-alpha, further fueling inflammation. Cytotoxic CD8 T cells are also present at lesion margins, enriched for myelin reactivity, and contribute to tissue destruction. Microglial activation is a hallmark of progressive MS pathology. These resident immune cells are found within cortical plaques, often in the absence of overt macrophage or leukocyte infiltration, and are activated by signals from pro-inflammatory lymphocytes or tissue injury. Microglia exhibit diverse activation states depending on the context, contributing to both neuroprotection and neurotoxicity. Finally, considering nerve conduction, in healthy myelinated fibers, impulses leap from node to node called saltatory conduction, resulting in conduction velocities around 70 meters per second. Demyelination impairs this process in several ways. Initially, it causes conduction block, where impulses cannot traverse the exposed demyelinated segment. This occurs because the hyperpolarized axon membrane, due to exposed voltage-gated potassium channels, prevents the generation of a propagating action potential. Often a temporary conduction block ensues, but with time, sodium channels redistribute along the naked axon, restoring the capacity for continuous conduction, albeit at a slower pace. Incomplete conduction blocks typically affect high-frequency impulses more than low-frequency ones, explaining phenomena such as fatigue and transient worsening of symptoms, what we observe clinically as fluctuations with heat or exercise. Ultimately, demyelination leads to conduction slowing, as the reorganized axonal membrane attempts to sustain impulse propagation without the insulating myelin sheath.